Because mine is if they've appeared in a comic together, or if they've appeared in a form of media, then it's part of the same universe.
I guess kind of. I wouldn't really put that as their as shared universe.
Okay. Like, what would your criteria be for a shared universe?
Like, I guess like they have to be in the same, I guess, universe, like all the Star Treks.
Right. So, for example, right, I would say Transformers is a part of the Marvel universe because, A, the comics were drawn by Marvel in the 80s, but also Marvel characters have appeared next to Transformers, and Transformers have appeared next to in Marvel comics. Right? So, like, Spider-Man has fought alongside Autobots.
Yeah.
And Decepticons have been on, like, one of the bad guy teams or whatever, right? So, therefore, they exist in the same universe.
I mean,
Does that make sense?
They're owned by the same company in that regard, but they're not.
Right. But I'm talking like, okay, so when we watch something, right?
Yeah,
or
but
read a book or whatever, we are suspending our reality and entering into a different reality.
Yeah.
Right? So we know that Iran and Iraq are a part of our reality because we know people who have been there.
Yeah.
Right? So Spider-Man fighting alongside the Autobots, right? Means that he can tell Iron Man about it. Right? So that means that the Autobots exist in that universe. And they fought against Decepticons.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're in the same. Like if somebody could tell somebody else, hey, I did this thing, and it wouldn't be questioned too much, right? Then it must be in the same universe, right? So if Batman can go to Superman and say, hey, remember that time we fought against that Captain America guy?
Yeah, but they're in a separate dimension. I wouldn't
Right,
consider that
but
the same
that doesn't
universe.
mean that they're not in the same universe. Because universes are big. Well,
universes are separate things. They're not. Yeah.
I guess are in dimensions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
because you can't.
Weird.
I wouldn't say they're in the same universe because.
Well, okay.
They can't like Spider-Man can't go a few miles over to Gotham and say, "Hey, Batman."
Right, and that would be like where I would say there's a line, like between DC and Marvel, they would have to cross a dimensional boundary.
Yeah,
right?
But even in the Marvel universes, they don't say, "Hey, let's call Optimus Prime," because he's not.
Yeah, but
he's
could.
He's not near them. He's not. They're not. Can't go down the road and see him.
Right, but they are in. But if they got into a ship and traveled through the galaxy, they could land on Cybertron.
Aren't the Transformers on Earth though?
I'm just saying that they could.
Yeah.
The Marvel characters could get into a spaceship and land on the Transformers home planet.
They could do that,
right?
but
So that means they're part of the same universe, right? Like, have you ever been?
I
ever been to Afghanistan?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So we just have to kind of take it for granted that it's there, right?
Sort of,
Because we've never actually. This is where the flat Earth people get hung up. Is they can't see, they can't wrap their mind around the planet being circular because all of their senses say that it isn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Earth's not flat? I was kidding.
And it's that kind of, at least in my head, it's that kind of thing.
I guess, but I just don't consider it unless they're easily accessible to them. Like, I don't,
Yeah, but I mean,
I wouldn't say Miles, like, well, I guess he is now, but like, Miles Morales, I wouldn't say has always been in the main Marvel universe because he wasn't. He was in the,
yeah, but that's dimensional.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Right.
that universe, but universes are in dimensions, but they're in the whole Marvel
Canon.
their overall Marvel universe, but
right. But I'm saying so. But we say that about Miles Morales because it says in the comics or in whatever piece of media we're talking about.
Yeah.
That, hey, I'm going to this dimension. Hey, I'm leaving, or I'm from this dimension.
Yeah.
When the characters don't say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they must exist in the same universe, right? Like Bumblebee and Spider-Man, when they fought side by side against the Decepticons, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they were done, it was, hey, we're going our separate ways. It wasn't, oh,
I
hey,
guess
thanks
that.
for helping me get back to my dimension.
Gotcha.
Or, hey, I'll see you next time I cross over this plane of existence.
Yeah, as long as it's in the main continuity.
Right.
I guess, yeah. Because they did that in the DC crossover. They had to be taken to their separate universes. Minds were wiped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like any of the Infinity Crisis, in any of the crises in DC where that's happened.
Yeah.
Right. Where it is, I think if they specify that they're leaving this dimension or they're getting home to their dimension, then it's a dimensional plane crossing.
Yeah. I guess
But
if Transformers never
not,
said that then.
And if you're not saying that or recognizing that, then it must be in the same universe, right? Like Wolverine never tells Spider-Man, hey, thanks for getting me back to my dimension.
Well,
They
yeah.
exist in the same universe. So it's kind of the same thing. And so, since that's true, right? If, God, we should be recording this.
It is being recorded.
So if that's true, then when the Autobots fight alongside the G.I. Joes, right, then that, in a circular logic, kind of says, okay, the G.I. Joes are also in the same universe as Spider-Man.
That kind of a
In a roundabout
transitive
way.
property?
Right.
Transitive property, you want to call it?
Right, like, gosh, did you ever see that comic book series? Okay, so Hasbro tried to
Which
do
one?
about Hasbro's properties, because Hasbro owned a lot of properties back in the 80s.
Yeah. They've kind of
They owned G.I. Joe, Transformers, Visionaries.
anything
Thundercat,
toy related.
Like, quite a bit of them. Well, back when these ideas of shared universe movies started to come about, Hasbro, before they went bankrupt, wanted to create their own shared universe. That's part of the reason we got the G.I. Joe movies.
Oh,
live action
okay.
movies.
We should probably just put these on. Might as well. just keep rolling with it. Whatever. It's fine.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, no.
So, what they tried to do was at their conventions, because there's like a G.I. Joe convention, there's a Transformers convention, there's these big conventions every year done by these companies for the fans of those properties.
Yeah.
They released a series of comic books kind of bringing all of these characters into the same universe to try to create a crossover universe so that they could take the Michael Bay Transformers movies and spin them into the G.I. Joe movies.
That'd been crazy.
Release Visionaries, GoBots, and have all these different movies that are in like a shared universe like the Marvel movies.
Okay.
Well, because of that, right, now all of those different things are in the same universe as the Marvel characters are now, because back in the 80s, a couple of the brands crossed over. It's just, it's crazy. Some of the continuity stuff gets crazy when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, but does that count since like resets and all that? Like because timelines get reset,
Right.
everything gets reset at some point. Some characters are let go, some are kept, changed.
I think because the timeline hasn't been reset since that
Since the 80s?
crossover. No, since that early, or it's like 2012, 2013 when this happened. The comic book timeline for Marvel hasn't been reset since about then, I think. It kind of brings
I think
that
it has. it has. They had the newest Infinite Crisis with the Battle World and all that.
Right, but that was only a couple of years ago. This was like 2014, 2015. People started talking about how these things
related.
are in this universe because of XYZ. And now it's all owned by Disney anyway. So
Yeah, so they can do whatever they want with it.
Disney owns the Transformers now. They own G.I. Joe. They own all that now.
They own the Alien franchise and all that, which makes every xenomorph a Disney princess.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's great.
It's my favorite Disney princess.
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Is
Yeah.
where,
I guess, yeah, that's one ridiculous shared universe, technically. Yeah. I mean, they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Although, like, Batman's fought the Predator
Right.
and stuff like that.
It's fought the Predator, fought alongside fought the Predator, and fought alongside the Predator
To fight
against
aliens.
aliens.
Yep. And fought aliens, I think, separately.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of any way they can make money.
Yeah. Yep. The Predator shared universe gets crazy.
Yeah. Terminators, RoboCop.
Oh yeah.
Because RoboCop fought Terminator, a couple different Terminators.
Oh yeah. There's a couple of video games. There's one on like the Super Nintendo where it's RoboCop versus Terminators.
It'd be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's another movie I wish they would have left alone. Although RoboCop kind of destroyed itself with the last couple movies of its own movies.
Yeah, but where do you take that idea?
Yeah, I think you just leave it.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you'd take it anywhere.
But that's what I'm saying is that
Yeah,
the first RoboCop movie is basically perfect,
pretty much, yeah.
you know? But they made so much money on it, it's how do we leave it alone?
Mm-hmm. I really wish they would have, with the new RoboCop, the first, like, I don't know, first act of the movie was him figuring things out, and then he goes evil.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts, building some sort of, like, criminal empire. And then they have to bring back Murphy.
Right.
As, like, well, he's the only one who could stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he might be slower, but he's more powerful, he's stronger, because he's bigger and bulkier. And then that's how they kill him.
I think, for example, if I was going to reboot the RoboCop franchise, right? I think I'd do like a Netflix series, and I'd have it
That'd be cool.
kind of a Western. I think Judge Dredd would work as this also, where you do kind of a Western type setup to it.
Like a cyberpunk Western.
Exactly,
Yeah.
where RoboCop's a sheriff in town, bad guy rolls into town every week, every show, and RoboCop has to solve it, the issue.
Yeah. It could be like a big overarching villain throughout the series, and he sends his henchmen.
Well, there could be like a big overall, like the OCP corporation could be behind. Like they need that town. They need Detroit for some reason.
Yeah, there's something there.
Like they want to build a giant nuclear plant with a facility that manufactures a whole bunch of whatever.
I feel like it'd be weapons or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like the next generation of tanks for the military.
The new HALs.
Or the new HALs.
And that's how they introduce it.
Right.
And then RoboCop has to fight one of them.
Right. But RoboCop doesn't know that that corporation's behind it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like the last couple of season big reveal is he's actually going up against the corporation that made him, like in the movie.
Yeah. Just stretched out more.
Just stretched out more.
I guess you could have a season.
You could have where the corporation is actually, what was the drug that in that movie that was?
It was Nuke, I think it was called, wasn't it?
Something like that.
I want to say it was called like Nuke. That sounds right. I don't already have this at Google. I could have swore it was called Nuke.
Right. But the corporations behind that coming into the town also.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where the first couple of seasons, first 2 or 3 seasons, he's trying to take down this. The overarching story is trying to take down this drug cartel type thing.
Nuke.
Yep.
That's why I thought it was called Nuke. Yeah, they could be distributing that.
Right. And come to find out that at the end of that drug cartel thing, they find out, oh, hey, the person that supplies most of the chemicals to make Nuke is OCP.
Mm-hmm.
And they know it's being turned. They know that it's for this.
That'd be cool. I feel like that'd be the first season, and the second season they try to pin something on him, and it'd be RoboCop on the run, trying to clear his name, and it'd be kind of like him fighting for his
I
life.
think the first season,
Or maybe a third season would be that.
I think the first season you would do just like establishing the town, the issues in the town, how he solves the issues.
Yeah.
You introduce him as the character in the first 2 episodes.
Some people love him, some people hate him.
Right.
But you see, like, maybe he does something a little questionable, but then he does something to redeem himself.
Right. He saves some girl.
Yeah.
He saves some kidnapped victim.
Yeah.
You know, but before he does that, there's a preacher in town or something that's secretly a drug dealer or a predator of some kind, and
That'd be good.
They don't know, the town doesn't know, the people don't know the preacher is that way.
Mm-hmm.
RoboCop just takes him out.
Oh, I could see that. Maybe
And that turns him against him.
I could see the preacher going, "Oh, he's an abomination. He's not supposed to."
Right. He's against
he's a
God.
sin against God. Yeah. He's not alive.
Kind of like in Full Metal Alchemist, where with in the first couple of episodes where they got to go to Lenore.
Yeah, and that
to
weird
take
preacher
out the
guy.
priest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got that red water stone.
Mm-hmm.
Or the fake philosopher's stone.
Yep. Yeah, something like that. And I think that would work really good.
Yeah, and they could definitely do. It'd be kind of cool if they had another Terminator show, but the Sarah Connor Chronicles. It's hard to say. Didn't do that well. Like, it has a cult following.
That good. Because the timeline gets really wonky really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you were going to do a new Terminator show,
I think it would have to be a resistant show.
Is it a movie or a series?
If they did if we're doing shared universes, do it series, so you could cross the RoboCop.
I think the better. Here's the idea for the episode. Here's the discussion topic for the episode. Relaunching series, like what
revives something?
What revived series would you like to see, and how would you go about it?
Probably RoboCop.
Yeah, the RoboCop idea is really good. I think that if we could start writing that this week, and Netflix would probably buy it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we'd have to get whoever owns RoboCop.
No. We don't have to have, like, we don't. When we pitch it to Netflix, it's we'd really like RoboCop, but it doesn't have to be
Gotcha.
RoboCop.
I guess they would.
And then
I
could
want it to be
license RoboCop for us if they wanted to.
Yeah. Something I always wanted to see in a Terminator movie. I know this is a little off subject, but I always wanted. I was hoping the next Terminator would have Arnold in it, but he'd not be a Terminator. Him being the scientist that they based him off of.
Oh yeah, that would
and
be
he's like,
interesting.
I know how to fight them because I made them.
Mm-hmm.
I know their weaknesses. And they could have had him in the movie, and not had him had to have the whole like.
That ties into what I was going to say. If you do Terminator as a series, if you relaunch it as a series, I think you have to start at, like, we stop following John Connor, and we have to follow Cyberdyne Industries to see Arnold Schwarzenegger's character as a scientist. We see how we got to Skynet, and then I think you end with Skynet actually taking over.
Yeah.
That way you can tie back into the movies and stuff that already exists.
Yeah, just make it retcon stuff. Not necessarily
changing
retcon thing, but
kind of making the timeline fit together a little bit better.
Yeah. That, or you would have to do a resistance show where it's in the future and they're fighting.
Yeah, that's the other idea. I think if you're going to relaunch Terminator as a series, at least, I think you leave the movie timelines alone, and you either do something pre the movies or post movies.
You can't have it in the middle.
Right. But then you have the problem of the one, which was the one where they were in the future. The one with
the one they're in the future.
Yeah, what was his name?
Terminator Genesis.
I think that's it. That's the one with Kristen Bale, right? Where Kristen Bale plays John Connor.
Was that him? I don't think that was. I don't think he was in any of them.
Kristen Bale, RoboCop.
Let's see. Oh, Salvation. That's what it was. Terminator Salvation.
I think so.
Oh, why'd I do that? That I actually like that movie. I like the concept of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's Christian Bale.
Yep.
It was good because it wasn't John Connor, but he was involved.
Right.
Yeah, and I liked the half.
There was some bad plot holes in it, I think.
Oh yeah, it's not a.
I mean, like for example, why were there like Skynet at that point is completely functional with no human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Why
they had
are
the
there
slaves.
Voice commands? Why can you enter the facility through a touchpad?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, that.
But I think a lot of that could be explained with, well, it's just like anything else. Like, you just modify it and move on. You don't take anything out.
Well, they said they had slaves and stuff like that working there. So maybe there were a few scientists or something developing things, and they thought, oh, well, we'll leave you alive.
I don't know. Just stuff like that. But I do agree. I think that's the way that you go with the series.
One thing I do, they had an alternate ending to this where John Connor dies.
Right.
And Christian Bale puts his face on, wears the skin, and basically becomes the new John because he was a beacon of hope. And they couldn't
Kristen
kill him.
Bale was John Connor.
No, he wasn't. He had to go rescue John.
I thought that was Sam Worthington, was the Terminator that had to keep.
Yeah, he was.
Kristen
Never
Bale,
mind.
John
Maybe I
Connor.
had him mixed up.
Yeah,
then.
you've got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Having Moon Bloodgood in it was a good idea.
Yeah. Sorry, I had him mixed up. But yeah, they were originally going to have.
I don't blame you for having them mixed up at this point.
I haven't seen this movie in a decade.
Yeah, I've seen it twice, maybe.
Yeah. But they were originally going to have the Terminator. Yeah, Marcus Ray. Because he was a prisoner, they were going to have him wear John's because John was going to die instead of giving him his Terminator heart.
And I think in doing something like that, right, where you make it where the Terminators think that they're going back in time to kill John Connor, but John Connor isn't actually the person they need to kill, that makes it interesting again. That adds a different flavor to it.
Kind of, yeah. Well, they kind of did that in Terminator 3.
Making it so that they just send back a more advanced Terminator, right? Like, where were they going after the T-1000? Like, the T-1000 is the best. They just, Arnold and John and all them.
Yeah, T2 is the best Terminator movie.
Lucked out in getting rid of that Terminator.
They really did, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, that Terminator did not have a lot of weaknesses.
No. Nothing that was readily available. You had to be in specific
locations, using specific stuff, and know a lot about metallurgy and stuff like that.
But that's kind of what they did in 3, where they were like, oh, we can't kill John, so we'll go after the people that helped him. And that could have been a cool series, I think.
Right.
Maybe they do that.
Isn't that kind of what they do in the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
I don't know. I never really watched it because I heard it was garbage.
I watched like 2 episodes.
I guess that would maybe
when it came out.
So a long time ago.
A long time ago. And it was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Blade TV show. I know that was not good.
I think if you're going to do Blade as a series, I think you do it like a crime. like a NYPD Blue or a Law and Order type.
That's kind of what Daredevil
show.
is, though.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
But that's not what Blade really is. I don't think you can do a Blade series.
I'm saying in like, he's doing investigations. He's looking for the vampire. The vampire is really good at hiding or whatever. And he has to find the different vampire and kind of work his way up the chain.
Yeah, I guess that'd be about the only way you could really do it. I get, unless you're having him just be,
Or do like a Rohan, like a samurai type storyline where he hasn't quite got with Whistler yet.
oh, like a prequel kind of thing.
And he's roaming, and like he's just hearing whisper, like he's just starting to get into the vampire hunting.
Yeah, because
So he has to travel to go from this city to that city, track him down.
in the first Blade movie with Snipes, Whistler said something like, "When I found him, he was a kid just feeding on homeless people."
Yeah.
So you could have him
Yeah.
the first couple episodes, him growing up, and then he finds Whistler, and that's his training arc.
Right. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then you just age him progressively.
But yeah, I think that's how you do like a Blade. Like, I'm not sure about the Blade movie coming out.
I don't know either.
Like, it has the potential to be fantastic or Blade 3.
Yeah.
And look, I've got a soft spot for Blade 3 because it has Ryan Reynolds basically as Deadpool.
Yeah, that was kind of like his audition to be Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly. But that was really the only good part. And what's her name? Running around with the bow and arrow.
Yeah, that arc thing. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I can't remember her name.
It's the Whistler's daughter. That's all
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember.
Yeah, but she was like, she was in the A-Team. Like, she's
Oh yeah, I forgot about
super
that
famous
movie.
chick.
What is her name? Let's look her up. Jessica Biel.
That's it. Jessica Biel. Yeah, that's really.
Abigail
Yeah.
Whistler. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a lot of movies for like a hot minute. There was like 5 years where she
Oh,
was in
yeah.
everything, and then
Oh,
she
yeah.
just kind of dropped off
Yep.
and did something here and there.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's just it's what happens sometimes.
That's just the way Hollywood works.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Speaking of Blade, that could be a whole nother movie. I guess adding to Marvel because they're gonna do a Morbius movie, and that would be a great crossover.
Yeah.
Blade Morbius. That just makes sense as far as I know it's happened in comics, but
Well, Morbius is being put out by Sony, not Disney.
do they own Blade still? They don't.
Marvel owns Blade.
I thought Sony
Sony
had that.
owns everything Spider-Man related.
Oh, for some reason I thought
Morbius is a Spider-Man villain.
I know they didn't own Blade at one point, and that's why they made the movie.
they didn't.
So I thought maybe they had the rights to Blade.
Well, back after the comics crash, DC kept everything at WB.
Yeah, Time Warner had
and
enough money to
Marvel
keep them afloat.
sold off their movie right. Like, they wanted to keep the comics together.
Yeah.
So they sold their movie rights off.
Yeah, because otherwise they go bankrupt.
So for like the Incredible Hulk, for example,
yeah, that wasn't great. The first one.
Sony has the rights to release a solo Hulk movie, but Disney owns the Hulk. So they can't release a solo Hulk movie.
But he can be in shared movies.
Right.
Yeah, that's why he's in the Avengers.
That's why he basically had an arc through Ragnarok and the Infinity War, Infinity movies.
All the crossover movies he can be in, just not his own. Yeah.
Which I think Disney just needs to bite the bullet, make a good Hulk movie, release it, and work out a deal with Sony where they split the profits or something.
Yeah. They really should.
They're going to own Sony eventually anyway. It doesn't matter.
It's going to take a while, but they probably will at some point.
I mean, honestly, I think that they should be doing more. Like back in the 70s when they had the TV series, comic book shows like The Incredible Hulk, Wonder Woman, that kind of stuff. I think a lot more of them should be being released that way.
I think they're going to start going that way. I think with Mando being so popular, I think they're going to say,
I think they're going to do that with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because the movies haven't been working out that great.
Yeah.
But there's so much good stuff in the old, quote-unquote, old universe of Star Wars. The comics,
Yeah,
and the
there
books,
really
and all
are.
that stuff. So I think they're just going to be doing that kind of stuff.
This maybe
I
ties into the movies a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that the Mandalorian, it looks like, isn't going to follow one character the whole time. It's just going to be like individual stories about different Mandalorians.
I don't know.
Well, the end
Boba's got his own show coming, though.
Yeah, the Book of Boba.
Yeah.
Was right at the end of the Mandalorian. Like, I think that's what the next Mandalorian.
Oh, they just won't do Din Djarin, and they'll just go to Boba.
Right. But it'll still be the Mandalorian. And, like, he'll make, in whatever his name is, Mando will make appearances in it and that kind of thing. Like, I think the first 2 seasons, it wasn't really the story of Mando. It was the story of Mando and Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And how they, like, how that story resolved.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it, a lot of it's just the setting up the Mandalorians, and they're kind of like the Watchers, whatever they're called, Children of the Watch. Kind of setting up because he was just
Well, I
a
think
foundling.
that they're setting up the Mandalorians. Like, we're going to learn about the rebuilding and watch the rebuilding of the Mandalorians.
See, I wonder, because I've heard a few things of saying Boba took over Jabba's old place because he wants to build his own.
Did you see that?
Yeah. He was taking that over. The theory is that he wants to rebuild Mandalore himself. Because he still wears the
the armor and the crest and all that stuff. Yeah.
Come on, Sonny.
Sonny's annual visit.
Yeah, he likes to make his appearance.
Did you catch the secret appearance?
Yeah. In the comments, type Sonny.
Win a pop.
I'll FedEx it to you. Not really, though.
Not really.
But I wonder, because I could see him building his own empire, saying we're the new Mandalorians, and then they have.
But that's what I'm saying is that, and then we see
the big war between him, Bo-Katan,
right,
and her, because she's. Do you consider Boba Fett a Mandalorian?
I mean, yeah, because his dad was a Mandalorian, and he passed.
But he's only a clone.
Does that really matter?
I don't know.
In Star Wars.
Are you a Mandalorian if you're not born on Mandalore?
That's like getting into, does killing a stormtrooper count as murder if they're clones? Like,
I don't know if Boba Fett
kind of like a
Boba
weird
Fett
line.
Killed a clone trooper, is that murder or suicide?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I would consider it murder because they're a separate life form.
I would say. Is Boba? No, because Boba Fett is not. Well, he's a clone, but he's given to his dad.
Raises his son, yeah.
To raise his son. So I would say that's more of a lineage thing than a clone thing.
Yeah, but if
it's a weird line.
If he doesn't follow Mandalorian tenets, is he a Mandalorian? I don't know.
Does he not?
He said he has no allegiance to anyone.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't follow the tenets. Like we learned in the show, like we all thought in the first season, if you take your helmet off, then
I never thought
it's a big deal. But then we learn in the second season, that's only for this offshoot.
I mean, everybody kind of figured that. I mean, anyone who knew like Rebels or
I'm just
watched
saying,
the Clone Wars or anything. Yeah.
I mean, that's because we can't take any of that as canon.
No, it's canon.
Not for the show.
Yeah,
I mean,
all the Rebels and Clone Wars are canon because Bo-Katan, that's how she met Ahsoka Tano and all that. That is all canon in there.
See, then we get into the weird universe thing. Like, if it's a cartoon, is it a part of the same universe?
Yeah, it is. They've confirmed it because that Bo-Katan is the Bo-Katan from the shows. Just and same with Ahsoka.
Then how did Ahsoka get past Order 66?
Because she left the Jedi Order years before. Because she was like,
I don't know.
She kind of had almost.
I think Anakin would still track her down. I think the Emperor would make him track her down. He knew about her. Like, how do you just let that?
I mean,
slide?
a lot of Jedi got out. A lot of people, because she left years before, and Anakin maybe had a soft spot for her.
Going off into a weird.
There's some Rebels parts where they find her too, and
right.
I haven't watched Rebels, but I've seen clips here and there. But
oh yeah,
but that
I
is
guess some of the best lightsaber fights are in Rebels.
yeah. But all those like the dark saber and everything,
Mm-hmm.
that's all from Rebels and Clone Wars.
Yeah, but that's all from the original canon also. Like the dark saber has been around since the 80s, I think.
Yeah, but this is Disney and they do what they want.
It has basically, I guess it has basically the same story.
I know it's the.
I don't think the Mandalorian thing is part of it in the original canon, but I think it's very like you can only get it from defeating the person who has it. Like you can't just take it. You have to defeat them in combat to get it. It won't in the original canon. I guess it like wouldn't even obey you. Like it wouldn't turn on if you stole it.
That makes sense.
You had to defeat the person in combat to be able to wield it.
Not so much anymore.
And it was like a big thing among Sith Lords. Really liked getting it and having that be their lightsaber.
See, I wonder if it had extra abilities. I know in the original canon,
Yeah, kind of.
red lightsabers had a small, because they were made out of fake kyber crystals, they had a small chance of deactivating or breaking another lightsaber.
Right.
So I wonder if the dark saber had that.
The dark saber had like a special kyber crystal that has never been found again. Something like that kind of story to it. And supposedly like could like almost cut through other blades, but I could be wrong about this. This is stuff that
From years ago.
and like I've dabbled in it and I'm not real clear. But yeah, it's got some crazy stuff in the original canon, but a lot of it looks like it's kind of working its way back into the Disney canon.
Well, yeah, they're cherry picking what they want, all the good stuff,
Yeah,
but
that's what you should do.
And it's hard to have exact things from old canon when you've radically changed new stuff. Like
Right.
they can't have the Yuuzhan Vong anymore. They can't have Ben Solo or Ben Skywalker, or the Jason Solo or any of the other kids.
Right. I want to know if Starkiller gets his own show. I would love that. From the
I
Force
feel like that
Unleashed
should be.
games.
I feel like that should be. That'd be a good series or a mini series.
I think like. All right, so obviously we're going to get something about Luke trying to rebuild the Jedi, right? And I think like Starkiller should at least make an appearance in that or something, because he did help. At least in the games, he helped kind of bring that situation.
Okay. Well, they could at least make a character close to him.
Right.
Some kind of cloned
Yeah.
Darth Revan.
Supposedly he's a clone of Anakin, I think. Or at least that's what he's told.
I'm pretty sure he was a clone of Darth Revan. And that's why he was so powerful.
No, I'm saying in the game.
No, in the game he was, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure he was.
I don't know. I've played both games. I don't know. I think he was told that he was a clone of Vader, but he really wasn't. Maybe he's a clone of the Emperor. I don't remember.
Let's see what here. Starkiller Wikipedia.
Oh, it just said right there.
Clone of Galen Merrick, Force sensitive human trained by Sith Lord Darth Vader. Okay. I guess neither of us are right.
That's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, he's some kind of clone. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but he was the first successful
Force sensitive clone.
Force-sensitive clone. And I think that could be interesting to kind of have that. I mean, that's kind of where I think they're going with the whole Grogu blood thing.
Could be, yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. They're gonna do something similar to that.
Right.
That could be that could be a whole nother series. They could cross over with Mando or Ahsoka.
The big bat where they have like a little army of them. You know?
There'd be one ridiculous crossover because I feel like the Mandalorians, Bo-Katan and them would have to come and help fight. Like a big, like an Infinity
Oh
War
yeah,
battle.
yeah, something like that. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're setting that up for the movies. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows?
That'd be one ridiculous movie.
I want to see Gray Jedi. I know that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to have gray Jedi when there are no actual Jedi left.
Well, that's kind of what Ahsoka is.
Yeah, but
a
she
gray
at least,
Jedi.
she at least was a Jedi at one point.
Right. That's how a lot of them come. That's how a lot of the gray Jedi turn out.
Yeah,
becoming gray Jedi.
They were Jedi.
Started as Jedi or as Sith,
Mm-hmm.
and they decided, I don't want to do either of those.
Would he be a gray Sith then? Can't be a Jedi if you're a gray Jedi if you were a Sith.
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
I get what you're saying.
It's just a terminology
Yeah,
to
yeah.
explain kind of where they sit.
Mm-hmm.
They use a lot of dark side and light side tactics,
Yeah, neither one is really consumed by the other.
right? And they don't train with any, like they don't gather in groups or train or work together or any of that stuff.
Yeah, they're more lone wolves kind of thing. Which that makes that.
I thought that's where they were going in Rogue One with the blind guy.
No, he just force sensitive.
I thought they were going with a gray Jedi there.
See, they at the very
And
beginning.
he very could have been. He very well could have been.
I thought he was gonna have a lightsaber because not Bo-Katan. What's her name had the kyber crystal her dad gave her, and I thought she would give it to him and he'd put something together and have a lightsaber and use that at the very end.
And that's a lot of the gray Jedi don't use lightsabers.
Yeah.
And I think that would be, I think that's kind of a show that they should do if they're going to do like a samurai type show for the Jedi or anybody force sensitive. I think they should do kind of like have like a gray Jedi be the lead character in that.
I think they would. That would be cool, I think, if they had someone who kind of knew they were force sensitive, but then they build it slowly. And maybe he uses
that's
blasters
how
or
they
something.
work. Yeah.
Or vibroblade. Vibroblades are cool.
Yeah, that's kind of how the Grey Jedi worked in the original canon.
Yeah.
Is along those lines. They were force sensitive and didn't know how to get a hold of the Jedi, didn't know how to get a hold of the Sith, whatever, and kind of trained on their own. Or a couple of them were part of the Jedi Council, didn't agree with a decision the Council made, so they left.
Yeah, that was Ahsoka, basically.
Yep, some of them were training with the Sith Lord. Sith Lord says it's time to kill me. Like, why haven't you killed me yet to take my place? You know, that's not the way I want to go. Leaves, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In the clone, the cartoon,
Wars?
Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah.
No, the other
Rebels?
one. Rebels.
Okay.
Where Darth Maul and Ahsoka fight. Darth Maul is basically a gray Jedi in that series.
Kinda, yeah.
Because he's not a Sith anymore, and there's no way he's going to be a Jedi, but he still has the powers and everything.
I wouldn't say he's a gray Jedi. I think he's more akin to like what Kylo was, where he's not a Sith, but he's not a part of that faction.
That's what I'm
but
saying
he's just
about
evil.
That's what I'm saying about the Gray Jedi is it is a diverse band. It's not like you don't have to wear gray, you don't have to be a loner, to be considered one.
But if you're evil, would you be considered a gray Jedi?
Yeah,
not
there's
just like
different
neutral.
shades of gray.
I guess
You're neutral because you aren't fighting for one side or the other.
Oh, okay. You're out for
You're out for yourself.
Okay,
or survival,
that makes sense then. Yeah, if you're going
or
from
to be
that,
left
that makes
alone.
sense. Because when I think about it, I think somebody's neutral and not doing evil things, not necessarily good things. But I guess that's kind of Maul.
Yeah, I mean just because you're neutral doesn't mean that you're
good or bad.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
You know,
that's very
It just
true.
means that you're not working for the Sith, or not working for the Jedi, or not trying to take over the universe, or
Yeah, although Maul kind of took over
not
a
trying
planet.
to enforce. It's just one planet.
Yeah, and he's the only Sith that I know of that his name is also a Sith name.
That what?
His name is also his Sith name.
Yeah.
That's weird,
It's
isn't
true.
it?
Yeah.
I never understood why. I
Well,
think
Darth Maul's not his real name.
Maul's his name.
Maul,
Savage.
Maul is his name, but
Yeah. But he wasn't Darth Anakin. He was Darth Vader.
yeah. But how do you get? Is there any? Is there? Can you come up with a better
Then Darth
Sith
Maul.
Lord name for him other than Darth Maul?
Darth Pointy Head. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
it's pretty good.
It works.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
It's probably what the Emperor's like. What can I think of? We're just going with Maul.
Yeah. That's something I want to see. I want to see the Emperor sitting in his office, coming up with Sith Lord names for his Sith Lord.
He's got a typewriter because he's old.
Let's see. His name's Anakin. What can we call him? His name's Anakin. Darth. I'm Darth Sidious. Darth. Telephone.
Some stormtrooper comes in. Hey, the elevator's out. The what? The Vader's out? That's good. I like that.
Write that down. Write that down. Write that down. I want that on an episode of Robot Chicken.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't do something like that.
I am amazed nobody has come up with that yet.
I have to cut that out so I can make it. So nobody steals it.
Well, I mean, think of it, because how many apprentices has Sidious had? Because he had Darth Maul and
Darth
Anakin.
Maul, Vader. I know, like, games and stuff, and they've had kind of their own secret apprentices.
Yeah, and they always seem to have a secret apprentice also, like Starkiller.
Dooku, Count Dooku.
Yep.
Kind of.
Yeah, but when did Dooku... So, after Maul, he brings in Dooku.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see a series on how the Sith work.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because it's, like, the rule of two. Why does the rule of two? You know? I mean, I know that there's reasons, but...
See how
a
it
lot
came
of the
about.
Sith stuff needs to be explained.
It does, and they probably will at some point, eventually.
But I mean, how do you do that?
You just start.
Like, do you do like an origin where you start out where there is no Jedi or Sith?
I think you start with somebody
And you
who's
start
going
with that.
who's going to the Sith Academy and learning about this stuff.
Oh, jeez.
That's
Now
like
I can see.
Harry Potter, the Sith
No,
Lord.
I just got this idea in my head of somebody like Darth Maul, right, with belt wrapped around books over their shoulders, skipping to the Sith Academy.
That's how you get beat up at the Sith Academy.
Look at Hornhead.
That would be.
And it's all encouraged. You know, all the bullying and stuff is encouraged.
I could see it.
People reading, the teachers come through and smack the books out of their hand. What are you reading? We're Sith Lords. We don't read.
They could do it where they have. Here's a good idea. They have 5 or 6 Sith Lords, like high ranking ones, at each academy, and they say you have 5 different sets of Sith that work together, and they do trials and missions. But at the end, the ones who win have to face each other and their own teams, and then that's how they pick an apprentice.
Well, I mean, what do you know about the original canon for Sith? Like, why the rule of two exists?
That was because the whole they were so
There
backstabby.
used to be a planet of Sith.
Yeah, they had Korriban.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got too backstabby, and somebody did like a mind bomb and killed everything. I think it was Darth Bane that did that.
Something.
But I just think it'd be cool if they had factions, and they they kind of grow friendship in a way, and then they have to fight each other at the end to be the one surviving.
I'm not saying it's not a bad idea. I think it's a great idea. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how you do a Sith series. I think you have to go back. Like, if you're going to do it, you have to start with, like, a kind of a retelling of how
this has to be
Jedi, how
1,000 years
Force
plus.
powers were discovered and how they kind of came about. And has there always been a dark side and a light side?
I would say no.
No. Or does the Force naturally take them in that direction?
I don't think so.
Like, if you have 2 people, like, let's say it starts like Adam and Eve, where there's 2 Force users because it's always balanced. So there's never too many on one side, not enough on the other, right? So you start off with 2, and does one of them just kind of go the good way and one of them kind of go the light way or the dark way? Or were they that way before they got the Force introduced to them? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here's my thing with it. That makes sense now.
Right.
Because we know light and dark, but it doesn't make sense when you look at it the way they explain the Force.
Right. And what I'm saying is that it's not necessarily thought of in Sith and Jedi mindsets, but
here's how I think it happened. Is that people started realizing they had Force abilities, and at first it was just levitating things, and eventually over years of midichlorians, I guess you want to say, being spread, genetics, more races figured out they had it, and then people figured out I can either do good or bad, and that's what created light and dark for it. Like the Force is just energy. It's the life force that binds us. It doesn't know good or evil, but our willpower manifests different sides of it.
And I guess that's what I'm kind of getting to is, okay, so you have Steve and Jerry, right? And Steve, before he gets midichlorian, naturally does good things. Jerry naturally does bad.
Yeah.
Right? So they each get the midichlorians and then separate. And then they just continue down those paths. Or Steve and Jerry are both pretty normal guys, do about the same amount of good and bad, right? Get midichlorians, start using powers, and then because of the way the midichlorians react in Steve's body, he naturally goes a little bit good. And the way they react in Jerry, he naturally goes a little bit bad. Or because they're midichlorians, right? Are there good and bad midichlorians?
I don't think so. I think it's just good or bad people.
Yeah.
And it's opportunity. Because you can be, say they're good and bad, but then one says, well, I've had a rough life. I'm done being good. I have this power.
Right.
Where
I'm
he
going to use
doesn't.
it for myself.
Yeah.
And I think that still gets back to, would he have still done that?
Not if he didn't have power, then he wouldn't be able to.
Does the power corrupt? Is that what I'm saying? And you have to overcome that corruption to be a Jedi.
Yeah. Power always corrupts. That's one of the oldest, storytelling bits ever.
That definitely gets to a little bit more interesting. Power corrupts. I mean,
that'd be a good series of two, like a tale of two Force users.
I've always thought that midichlorian were kind of dumb until we started talking about this right now. And now I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're traveling. Like, they go to a planet. They both drink out of the same pool.
No, you can't. It doesn't work that way.
I give you your chance. Uninhabited planet. Never been there. They drink out of the pool. Midichlorians are in the pool. Holy crap. And then they start spreading. Like, that's kind of an all right origin story now that I think about it like that.
I get that, yeah.
It's way better than like, oh no, it's a religion. And yeah, people are chosen and da-da-da-da. No, I think,
that would actually play really well into like the Yuuzhan Vong coming from, I mean, they were shut off from the Force, but I could see it from other galaxies coming in. They don't have the Force, and certain things don't affect them because of that.
Right. Yep.
And that would be a good struggle.
Yep. And then some people, the midichlorians just naturally are able to reproduce in their body. Other people, they're not.
It would have to be something.
It's like an actual life form. Like it's not really this religion life force that connects to everything. Like that's the religious aspect of it.
Yeah. But it's a physical thing.
Right. It's a physical bacteria type thing.
They can just tap into the energy of the universe and give people horsepower.
Right. It heightens them.
We'd
like
have
a mutation.
Yeah, you'd have to write it that wherever planet they got it from was either destroyed or that supply.
Or they lost it.
Yeah,
they lost the coordinates because it's a planet that's never been explored.
yeah, it's like outer rim.
And for whatever reason, whenever anybody lands on this planet, when they leave, there's like a huge magnetic field that they go through or something that wipes their instruments so that planet can't be documented.
I would just say they would.
That way
they
you
would
can
just
have people like kind of come in.
I would just say you'd have it wiped out. Like they wipe out the supply.
Yeah, but if you wipe out the supply, then you can't have, like, later on in the series, somebody just stumble upon it and get powers out of nowhere.
That's true, I guess. Or they would come to a
You have
different
something
planet.
like,
Well, they could have stores of it that are traded among the elite.
maybe something like that. And maybe that's a struggle you find out later on in the series is somebody has figured out how to document the planet, and they've started selling mitochondrian juice.
Midichlorians.
Juices, you know?
That would be a good, like a drug trade kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where they take the midichlorians, but they damage them, so it only lasts so long. So you have to keep buying from them.
Yeah, something like that. You can get something like that if it's a supply of something and a weird bacteria or single cell organism or something.
Yeah. Maybe they're cloning them, so they only have a little bit, and that would be the hero's thing is killing that donor supply.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, you want to be a superhero? Buy it. Yeah.
I think that's kind of a decent way to think about it. And like all of the stuff about it's a life force that travels through everybody. Blah, blah, blah. Like that's just how. That's just what the Jedi came up to be able to explain it to people.
Yeah.
And that's just like a religious aspect of it that isn't really true.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole, like the unicorn.
Yeah.
Like that, they think it might have just been rhinos people saw, and then it just slowly evolved into something ridiculous.
Yep. Because you had to have some way to explain it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you couldn't go back and get more and prove it, you know? And you had to have some way to explain, well, this slave kid on a pod racing planet has it. How do you explain it, you know?
Yep.
And it reacts with different people differently.
Yeah,
that's why
they can pass it on randomly.
they can pass it on randomly. It's not compatible with all beings and all lineages, you know.
Just it's almost by random chance. But then you could also have
but it also works in people differently. So in some people they become really good with force pushing but can't get any of the precognition stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of how
some people are better at the precognition stuff. Some people are good at the force lightning.
That's kind of how it works now.
Right.
Like
but this is an explanation.
Yeah. That makes sense. Like that tracker dude who was in Clone Wars, where you could touch something and see bits of what's happening.
He just had a little bit of, and some people get just a little bit of the single cell organism or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're not really force sensitive, but they are a little force sensitive, like the blind guy. And
yeah, I can't think of what his name was. Or then there's someone like Anakin, who's just his powers
right,
are
they just
ridiculous.
love living in his body.
Yeah,
and just
he's just super powerful. Same as Sidious, just random chance. He's just OP.
Yep. And I think it's and in that way you can kind of go with, well, some people they evolve and they just make them use their powers in this negative way, even if they don't want to. And that makes it another interesting part of it. I don't know. I think it works.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
But we have gotten way off topic, just like always.
Yeah, that's fine. It's whatever. I think I'm gonna have this episode as like writing your own fan fiction or something.
Yeah. Different universes, plot holes, fixes, fixed, or ideas for how to explain different universes.
Yeah, or writing your own universe, something like that.
Yeah,
we're at an hour. What do you think?
I don't know. That's up to you. I can keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep these at an hour, just so they're not a pain in the ass to edit.
Okay.
Unless it's gonna be like a big special episode,
Right.
and I had like a full table or something.
I think you need to do that for when you and Kimmy are done with the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to do, okay, where does Star Wars go from here? And bring in, like, Kimmy and me and somebody else. And have, like, a big one.
That'd be cool.
I really think we need to get Corey and
Haku
in here.
That'd be hard. I've been trying to get Corey to be here forever. He won't. Whatever, though.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody.
Excellent job.
Like, share, subscribe. That's what you have to say.
Hammer that like button.
Smash the like button.
Smash the notification bell.
Yeah. Goodbye.